camera and the laptop will, I saw that message. Will McFingerdo, you are the first. Well done, sir. Very good. Good job there. There we go. Skip ads, of course. Good evening. Welcome. Live chat number 57 here on Brooks's Base Corner. Good to see you. Thank you for dropping by. If this is your first live chat, either on my channel or any other YouTube channel, you're very welcome. It's good to see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. If you're one of the regulars here on Brooks's Base Corner, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. Join us. This is the regular Tuesday night live chat here on Brooks's Base Corner, all the way from London town in the UK. It's currently just turned 8 o'clock in the evening. So as I said, if you've not been on a live chat before, you're very welcome. It's good to see you. I'll give you a very brief, I'll try and keep it as brief as I can because I know this winds some people up, but I'll do it anyway. So if you've not been on a live chat before, this is the video window. Directly below, if you're on the mobile app, is the live chat window. If you're on the desktop version, it's that way. How does this work? Well, basically it's a two-way conversation. If you've got any questions, comments, anything you want to ask me, put your cursor, your pointer, your arrow, whatever you have on your system, in the live chat window, type your comment, question, press send. It pops up here on my laptop. So I can see it, and then I can reply to your comments and questions. Directly below the live chat window on the mobile app, if you're on the desktop, it's directly below the video window. You'll see a row of icons. There's a thumbs up and a thumbs down. If you're enjoying the video as we go through the live chat, of course, we'll only be going about 2 minutes. If you enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps to promote the video on the YouTube algorithm. It works wonders for the channel. So if you be so kind, give it a thumbs up, that'd be fabulous. If you're going to give it a thumbs down, then please leave a comment. Let me know why you don't like it, and that's the only way I can make the videos better. Next to the thumbs up and thumbs down, you'll see a share arrow, which allows you to share the video out to social media, websites, email. Feel free to do that with any video here on Brooks's Base Corner on the YouTube channel. Next to that, you should have the shop icon, which allows you to buy Brooks's Base Corner branded merchandise, like the cap and the t-shirt, and that will it'll put it on the right hand side of the screen. So you'll see mugs, caps, glasses, hoodies, t-shirts, socks, iPhone cases, laptop cases, iPad cases, all that kind of thing. All of which helps the channel, and I'll come back to the merch shortly. You'll also see a save button that allows you to save the video for watching it later. And then you'll also see a love heart with a dollar symbol in it. It's called Super Thanks. Works in exactly the same way as Super Chat, and I'll explain Super Chat in a moment. So basically, if you wish to make a financial contribution to Brooks's Base Corner, help keep the channel running, hopefully for as long as possible. If you hit the Super Thanks button or the Super Chat button, that allows you then to make a financial contribution to the channel. You don't have to, the videos are free, but if you enjoy what we do here on Brooks's Base Corner, or you particularly enjoy a particular video, you can do that. Every video on the channel is monetized, so I leave that up to your discretion. Now, at the bottom of the live chat window, you'll see an emoji icon. Feel free to give that an absolute pummeling. That shows the YouTube algorithm that you're enjoying the live chat, getting involved, entering into the conversation. Next to it, you'll see a dollar symbol. That's Super Chat, as I was just referring to. Exactly the same concept as Super Thanks. Basically allows you to make a financial contribution, donation to the channel. Everything here has to be paid for one way or the other. So if you enjoy what we do here on Brooks's Base Corner, feel free to use either of those facilities. Now, underneath the icons, you'll find a description box. In description box, you will find merchandise links, so t-shirts, caps, hoodies, 1,000,001 other Brooks's Base Corner branded merchandise. You'll find links to the UK and European store. the US and worldwide store, and up until 23:59, so 1 minute to midnight on Thursday, all merchandise, wherever you are in the world, whatever product you wish to buy, purchase, has 20% off. So if you've been thinking about buying some Brooks's Base Corner merchandise, maybe one of the Base Legend quote t-shirts, this is a rather fetching quote from Mark King of Level 42, you'll find all of the merchandise in those merchandise links in the description box below. So as I said, up until 23:59 on this Thursday, so in 2 days time, September 28th, all merchandise is 20% off. So happy shopping, guys and girls. Then underneath the merch links, you'll find affiliate sales links for Thomann, Amazon, Gear for Music and Andertons. So how does that work? So again, if you wish to help the channel, but you'd like something in return for making some sort of financial donation to the channel, if you've got a base related purchase, if you go to any of those affiliate links in the description box below, click on them, find the item you want, put it in your basket, go through with the transaction, and basically Brooks's Base Corner receives an affiliate commission once the sale goes through. It's a very small amount. It's not whatever the sale price is. I don't get that. We get a very small percentage. But if lots of people buy lots of things, those percentages get bigger. And it also then allows me to open up offers from the retailers, which I can make available to you fabulous people who watch the YouTube channel. Underneath the affiliate links, you'll then find social media links, and you'll find us on Facebook, Twitter, X, same thing, Instagram, Be Real, Discord, Reddit, Quora, TikTok, and Threads. So 9 social media platforms you can find Brooks's Base Corner on. That is literally the preamble. The only other thing I've got to say is if you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button below. That really helps. Hit the notification bell so you get notifications when I post up new videos or post on the community tab. And again, if you're enjoying the video, please hit the thumbs up. That really helps as well. I can see people appearing in the live chat window. So Will McFingerdo, good to see you. Thank you for coming along. Stacey from North Carolina, evening. Hope you're well. Steffi from Germany, good evening, everyone. Just came back from, oh God, I need to focus with my glasses there. From Thuringia, one of those. Pretty tired, but I wanted to pop in and say hi. Mike, thanks again for your email and your advice regarding the base I told you about last time. My pleasure. I had a look at that Black Star base. Seems like a similar kind of instrument to the Kahler U bass, but it's electric rather than acoustic. Could be good for traveling, but my only concern is if that's your first foray into bass playing, I would be concerned that your hands are only going to get used to the dimensions of that instrument, not a short scale, not a medium scale, and certainly not a long scale. The body's very small, the neck is very small and condensed. I would suggest, perhaps, you know, I'm only saying this just from my position, I would maybe start on a short scale, and then if you want one of those Black Star instruments, then go to that afterwards. But I would certainly get used to the dimensions of a, in inverted commas, regular bass, whether that's short scale, medium scale, or long scale. But I certainly wouldn't make the Black Star your first instrument, because that is what you will become accustomed to. And if you then try and move to another regular kind of bass, I think you're going to struggle. So if you go for a short scale, which is what we suggested last week, and then if you want one of the Black Stars as like a something you can have lying around the house or a travel instrument, whichever way you see fit, then I would go then have that. But I still think you need something with a bit of dimension in terms of the body and the neck dimensions. But it's entirely up to you. Whatever works for you, go with that. Start by Stacey Ann. The Ibanez Thomann is easy on small hands. Yeah, I have one here. Question is, which bag is it in? Let me just see if I can help you here, Steffi. So Stacey is correct. And Ibanez Thomann might well be suitable. I think it's here. Bear with me a moment, guys and girls. I haven't got this one in the racks. Here we go. So these are available in an array of colours. I think they do a short scale version, but this is actually long scale as far as I can remember. Or is it medium? I can't remember. But anyway, do your research. And Ibanez Thomann, Talman. So here's one I picked up a couple of months ago in seafoam green. Well, they call it mint green, but it's basically the same thing, isn't it? So it's not a huge neck. Got a bit of a paddle of a headstock, but it's an Ibanez, so it plays great. Sounds pretty good as well. I did a review of one of these for Bass Guitar magazine back in 2007. It might be out of tune. But these are really good. And a lot of fun to play. And very comfortable. Easy to get on with. It's definitely out of tune. Let's get a G here, shall we? That's good. Good start. Well done, Michael. That's the fella. The bottom two are well out. There we go. Yeah, so that's an Ibanez Thomann, so that might be worth looking at. I think they do a short or a medium scale version. I think this is the long scale. And reasonably cheap as well. These aren't expensive. You can buy these second hand, very competitively priced. So yeah, check it out. I saw some more messages there. Oh, my sister's on. Evening all. Hope you've all had a good week. And my mum's on as well. Mum's watching and listening. Good evening, everyone. Hope all is good with you all. Then Stacey, yeah, that's the fella. The Thomann is a little gem, I think. Steffi, Turin, I've got to get this right. Thuringia is a state in East Germany. Very good. Been there for 2 days with my fellow students from Froebel Seminar, where we all study. Excellent. Happy studying, guys and girls. Let me just turn on that so I'm getting all the messages, which is what we want to see. So what news have I got for you? Let's see, last Tuesday. So my gig this week was at Soultasia Festival with Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno. So just the one gig last week. Back to 2 this week, 2 next week. We did the last Soultasia show of the year, which was at Moat Park in Maidstone in Kent. And we had a great time. Got a nice free, well, it's a plastic cup, but you know, nice branded cup here and there. Not to be sniffed at. I don't think they've ever done these at the shows before. I've certainly never seen them as part of the band rider. But anyway, cheers everyone. But it looks very nice, quite snazzy. And yeah, we had a great show. And it went down great. Had an absolute blast. We had a few health issues in the band. So male singers got teeth are in, tonsillitis. And the previous week, one of our female singers had, well, we don't know if she had a cold, flu, COVID, who knows. She got through the gig the week before, which was Herne Bay at Strode Park. She was still a little off colour on Saturday, and we were supposed to have our DEP female singer on that gig as well, and she had a cold or flu or COVID. No one seems to know what they've got at the moment. So there seems to be a lot of illness floating around, and we now hear that our beloved uncle, the governor, it's developed into full-blown tonsillitis. So we're hoping he's fine for Friday's show in Bishop Stortford. But just keep taking the meds, son. Take the meds, lots of lemon and ginger, and lots of water, lots of fluids, and get well soon, mate. I don't envy you. I've been in so many bands over the years where singers have had vocal issues and get illnesses at this time of year as we come out of summer. Temperature drops a bit and suddenly all the flus and colds suddenly appear. But it's no fun, and you got to go on and do a show in front of paying customers. It's not an easy job, so get well soon, mate. I can see everyone saying hello. Visog, good to see you. Is the 6-string Spectre on the thumbnail one of yours? No, sadly not. If only. If only. Some of the thumbnails you see for the live chats are from my collection, but that one isn't, sadly. Didn't know you were a sixer. I'm not. I'm not in any band where a 6-string bass would be the required instrument. Never have been, actually. Done a review or done reviews at the magazine for a couple of 6-string basses, but certainly not my instrument of preference, I'm afraid. It's one of those things that unless you're in a band where you need it, I just wouldn't play it. If I bought one, it wouldn't happen. I remember Stuart Clayton had a 6-string Status Stealth many years ago. At the same time, he was selling his Status 2000, which is in my rack over there. And that 6-string Status took ages to sell, I think. And I remember asking him, why did you buy that? He said, well, it seemed like a good thing to sort of noodle around on and do things with. I said, but are you ever going to use that on a gig? He went, no. That's why it went. And then he sold it. And I think the guy that bought it gave it plenty of playing time. So there are certain players who 6-string is the be all and end all. It's not for me. Not for me at all. I know where my register is. And unless you're in a band where you're going to make use of that higher register, if you're doing a lot of stuff quarterly, maybe. You're not going to earn a lot of money, I don't think, doing that kind of stuff. Certainly not in the realms that I work in, but thank you for asking, mate. No. 4s and 5s, maybe even a couple of 3s and 2s wouldn't go amiss. But no, 6 isn't my cup of tea, I'm afraid. So yeah, here we go. Keep the questions and comments flying in, guys. If you've got any questions, you've got any bass queries, you've got any gear causing you a problem, maybe you're looking to buy something new. Christmas is approaching, my friends. So if you're looking at a new bass, maybe a new gig bag, pedals, accessories, new amp, combo. You see over my shoulder, the SWR Super Redhead has finally made an appearance. So anyone who follows us on social media will have seen the wall of amplification photo that I put up yesterday. Yeah, I had a bit of rearranging on the old backdrop, so hope you approve, guys and gals. So I brought in my EBS Neo 212. It's down here. You can't, without me tilting the camera, you're not going to see it. It's down there. And it actually got, so I bought that cabinet in April 2009, and yesterday was the first time it got a clean. It had all sort of fluff and, well, I dread to think what else, floating underneath the grill. So I popped the grill off, hoovered it all out, brushed all the dust and cobwebs and bits and pieces. I haven't used that cab since 2018. It was my go-to cab, and I still think it's a fabulous cab, but I use my Aguilars when I need backline now. But I wanted to include it in here, so it makes a very nice bass cab, as in what's supporting the SWR Redhead. And as you can see, the Hartke cab has also gone up in the air as well. So there we are. But the SWR sounds fabulous. All the gear here sounds fabulous. What am I talking about? It's all top-notch stuff. So very happy with all of that. And for some reason, and I don't know if you guys are seeing this, so on my laptop I've got the live chat and I've got the actual chat window on the right. Have you guys got an advert above the live chat window? I seem to have acquired, well, I've got an advert running called Hobbycraft. I'm not responsible for that. I don't know where that's come from. I certainly don't want it. For some reason, I don't seem able to get rid of it. They've created a My Ad Center on YouTube. Great. Hobbycraft. Visod, not for me. Regarding the 6-string, or are we talking about the ad at the top of the screen? I don't know why that has appeared and attached itself to my live chat, but the ad, no, Hobbycraft, no. Not that way inclined, sir. I've got more than enough on my plate to deal with. I've got gigs to prep for, work to do, and YouTube channel to run. That's more than enough. And a dog to walk. And keep the house running. That's more than enough for me. I certainly don't need hobbies, I can assure you. So yeah, yes, if you have any gear queries, fire them off. Let's see what you've got. And if I don't know the answer, chances are one of the fine learned bass players that we have frequenting Brooks's Bass Corner will be able to help as well. But yeah, so that was the gig last week. What have we got this week? Well, as I said, we're meant to have Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno on Friday at South Mill Arts Centre in Bishop Stortford in Hertfordshire. But that will entirely hinge on whether Simon's voice comes back and his tonsillitis recedes. If it doesn't, then we've got a major problem. Not like we can just put a dep in. It's his band. He is the uncle of Uncle Funk. And without him, the show won't be going ahead. So fingers crossed. And then Saturday, I've got a Queen tribute up in Milton Keynes, which I think is a public show. I think it's Wolverton, maybe. I think. I can't go on to my WhatsApp to check, but yeah. So that's where we are Saturday. So that tribute's called This Is Queen. So if you're in the vicinity of Milton Keynes, you want to come check us out, and feel free. I think we're doing 2 45-minute sets from 8 o'clock on Saturday evening. Stacey Ann, fingers crossed for the Funkle Finger. I beg your pardon. Yes, you retract that message. I think you meant the Funkle Singer. Funkle Finger. That's something else entirely. Before the watershed, we're not getting into that. So yeah, so that's this week's gigs. And then the week after... the week after is a public theatre show, I think, with Uncle Funk on the Friday, which I think is the 6th. Could be Haverhill. No, Whittam Public Hall, which is kind of Cambridgeshire, Essex border. So that's where we will be. Well done, Stace. Yes, I'm glad you edited that. Fingers crossed for the Funkle. Much better. Yes. So we'll be at Whittam on the 6th, and then I've got a private function over in Gloucester on the 7th. So it hasn't completely fallen off since the summer. So there are still gigs there, which is fabulous. Stacey, I was typing fingers crossed and left the finger dangling. Yes, you did. And nicely edited rapidly. Well done. Very good. So, so that's kind of everything up to date. Every week goes by and I keep saying there's going to be content next couple of days. And then all of a sudden I get ambushed with jobs to do and things to do. And I'm filming and editing as quick as I can. But it's time intensive. Really, it's really time intensive. So with the best will in the world, tonight I'm not going to say there's going to be stuff up tomorrow, but I will try my darndest to make sure there is some new content up tomorrow. There's plenty to go. And obviously the bass string experiment series is still ongoing. I'm happy to report the strings haven't popped yet. They're still going. So last Saturday, the Soltasia gig was gig 68. Friday's show will be gig 69. I then don't use the status on on the Queen shows. Obviously, it look a little out of place for a John Deacon. And then next week at Whittam Hall, if we get that far with the strings, will be gig number 70. It's outstanding, really. A set of rotor sound, round wound steel strings will have done 70 gigs. It's mightily impressive. Okay, they've kind of died off in terms of feel. A lot of the tone has gone from the lower strings, but with the 3-band EQ on the status, on the Empathy, they're getting by. They're really getting by. I don't know how, they just are. If I wasn't filming the series, I might well have changed them by now, but they're still working. And on the gigs in my ears, when I'm using in-ear monitoring, they sound okay. They sound okay, but the feel has gone. So when we do things like Forget Me Nots in Uncle Funk, I'm kind of biting my lip the whole time because they feel horrible to slap. The E and the A string are just so dead, but tonally they're okay, but there's no bounce back. There's no resonance from, they literally die off. As soon as you hit a note, it's like, it's gone, which is really hard when you're on a theatre stage or a festival stage and you're just wanting this big fat F sharp, D, E, C sharp. Oh, play it right, Mike. It'd be good if you don't hold the bass up like that. Anyway, and so it goes on. But yes, those strings are nearing the end rapidly. It has to be said. So we'll see how we're going at gig 70 if they get that far. I didn't think they'd get past gig 60, if I'm perfectly honest. You haven't seen that video yet because it's not edited. But when I did gig 60, which was towards the end of August, I didn't think they were going to see gig 61. And I thought, what have you got to lose? The backup bass is there. If the string pops, go with it. Just swap the bass over. And lo and behold, they're still going. It's like they don't want to give up. They want to carry on. So we will soldier on with them and we'll see how far we get. Who knows? Maybe they will approach gig 80. I just don't know. I just don't know. They could see the year out. I don't know how many gigs. In fact, let's have a look. I can tell you. If I just go on my online diary, if we get to the end of the year, they will be on 71, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'll be close to about 85 gigs if everything I've got in my diary takes place. It's not bad. It's not bad for a £25 set of strings, really. It's very impressive, I have to say. But we will see. We will see how far we get. Watch this space. It's coming. Just like Christmas. Kevin Smith, good to see you. How you doing, mate? Hi, Mike. Did you get out into the garden today? Might be the last of the sunshine. Sunshine? What the hell am I saying? Might be the last of the sunshine. Well, I have news for you, Kevin Smith. So today here, where we are, it was meant to rain from literally 6 a.m. till 2 or 3 p.m. We haven't had a spot of rain all day. It was overcast. And then it perked up and it's been sunny all afternoon. On the 2 weather apps I have on my mobile phone, both of them say we now don't have any rain until next Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. And it's going to be sunny and cloudy, which is fine. That's good. Dry weather. and around 19, 20 and 21 degrees. I'll take that towards the end of September and start of October. That works fine for me. So no, didn't get out in the garden today. We did have tree cutters here though, who were trimming all the trees and bushes and hedges. But I will be getting out into the garden probably Thursday or Friday. So it's all good, my friend. All good. And thankfully, it was dry yesterday when I was cleaning that 2x12 cab. So the Hoover came out, popped the grill off, had a brush, got all the dust and loose rubbish out, hoovered it all round. It looks immaculate now. Apart from the corners, the plastic corners for stacking cabs, they bear the brunt of, well, let's see, I used that cab literally on every gig I did here in the UK for 9 years. It's a lot of gigs. Got to be somewhere in the region of 750 to 800 shows, maybe. So aside from the work that I did out in Israel at the time, where I used to do month-long trips, that would have done every gig here in the UK. I don't think I did any shows where I didn't use it. It was literally lived in the car. It was always my go-to cabinet. The only shows where I didn't use it would have been things like O'Neill's in Wardour Street, because they have, because it's a pain in the backside loading in and out of there. They have a bass rig already supplied there, so you just turn up and plug in. Used to take an amp, but I didn't take a cab. There will be a workshop video for this bass at some point, hopefully this side of Christmas, as well as a demo video and a review video. They're lovely basses to play, and as I said, pretty cheap. You can pick them up brand new. I think they're $280, I think, £280. Second hand, go on eBay, surprise yourself. I've seen these going for £80. Handy handy second bass, backup bass if you need one and you don't particularly want to spend a lot of money. And they're active bass, active treble, volume, pickup pan. I don't think it's push pulls, no. Very nice, what they call mint green, but basically seafoam green, isn't it? The torch shell plate. Ooh. So yeah, I need to just update my screen here a moment. Just check that I'm up to date with all the messages popping in. I think so. Yeah, I'm good there. That's all good. So if you've got any questions, any comments, anything to do with any of the videos or the content here on the channel, anything that's been up on the social media over the past week on Brooks's Bass Corner, anything to do with the community posts that I've been posting on the community tab. If you don't know what I'm talking about, YouTube has its own social media section for every channel called the community tab. So I post on there, or I try to do something almost every day. Sometimes if I'm really busy with gigs and it's just not possible, then I don't. And if you're a regular viewer of the channel and those messages, then you'll know some days go by at weekends and I just don't have the time. But I try to post there as often as I can. So feel free to interact with those posts when you see them, if you see them. Kev Smith, Mike, have you ever used orange cabs and amps? Not personally, in terms of buying some, but I have reviewed quite a few. I reviewed the Terror, the Orange Terror. I did the Glenn Hughes combo. There was a rig, there was like the new Terror rig that came out towards the end of 2019. just before lockdown. And over the years with the magazine, I did quite, let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 orange reviews. Not generally the sort of tone I'd be after. I kind of find it, for guitars, I get it. You know, I understand the cabinet design and the sort of loud, you know, in your face tone that they offer. For bass, it's a thing. Not my preference, but if it's something that floats your boat, then by all means go for it. I mean, for years, you never saw orange gear. It was very much a 60s and early 70s thing. And it kind of not got swept away, but it just simply wasn't in vogue. And then over the past 20 years, it sort of has come back with sort of quite a you know, it's everywhere, certainly in the shops, and it's priced pretty keenly. So, you know, for people that want that sort of 60s, 70s, lo-fi, you know, loud, distorted bass tone, you know, orange gear should my teeth today, should certainly be on your list. Luke at my ass. Okay, comedy name, clearly, I assume. Welcome, Luke, good to see you. If that is actually your real name, then I apologise, but something tells me it's not. Luke at my ass. Nah, you're right, mate. But good to see you. Welcome to the live chat. Hope you're well. If it's your first time on Brooks's Bass Corner, speak freely. Let us know what you're playing, what gear you got. If you got any problem with any gear, amps, cabs, pedals playing up, bass problems, let us know. If you want to talk gear, speak freely, my friend. That's what we're here for. Yeah. So, once more for the asking, that's the Ibanez Thomann. Battery. Before you ask, battery. You want to get to all the gubbins, you've got to take the plate off. It's a comfy bass to play, as with most Ibanez basses, let's be fair. Kev Smith, what about Fender Rumble amps? Again, did a couple of reviews of those. I think I did one early 2019. And actually, I was going through some of the older review stuff. Just bear with me while I'm sitting this gig bag. I was going through some of the review stuff from years gone by, because, again, if you're watching the channel on the social media channels, I've been posting up various reviews going back to when I first started at the mag. So it was 2004. I know, 20 years next year, scary stuff. And I'm seeing like all the stuff that I actually reviewed, and I look at some of it and go, did I do the review for that? I can't remember. And I guess a lot of it became a blur, but there certainly were a few Fender Rumbles in there. Can't tell you how many, maybe 2 or 3. But the last one would have been early 2019. And I know where I reviewed it. It was at PMT in Clerkenwell in London, not far from Shoreditch. And we did a small review day there. I think I did 4 or 5 basses. I think I did 2 amps and maybe a pedal. Oh, yeah. The pedal would have been the Electro Harmonics bass monosynth. Yeah, so that was the last one. So if you've got back issues of the mag, you'll see it in 2019. I can't remember the date. But if you haven't seen it, or you want to see it, just keep an eye on the social media, and I'll be posting it up as we sort of trundle through all the stuff. I mean, there's over, I think there's somewhere in the region of 600 to 700 reviews. So basses, amps, pedals, accessories, and then there's all the interviews and features and stuff that I wrote in the columns. But yeah, it'll get there. So just keep an eye on, well, the best place if you're on Facebook is to go on Facebook. So if you go to Brooks's Bass Corner, go to the photos section, and I'm basically broken down all the magazine stuff into sections. So bass reviews, amp reviews, pedal reviews, features, interviews, columns, and on it goes. So yeah, Fender Rumble amps. Haven't used one on a gig. I've never used one on a gig. The small ones, great for home practice. The ones that have got the effects built in, you know, anything that companies give the punter as an extra is a bonus. So, and remember the one I reviewed in 2019 was a really good amp. I think it was a 50 watt, I think. But there was a lot to it for the price. I thought very good value. The bigger ones I haven't used, so I can't really comment. And unless you're using a bigger amp in a gigging situation, which it's been designed for, obviously, it's a bit hard to say really. But I know those Fender Rumbles have been doing really good business over the past sort of, I guess, 8, 9, 10 years maybe. I can't remember when they came out. 2013, 2014 maybe. So they put them in that time scale. Have you got one, Kev? I don't know. Tell me what you've got. Are you looking to buy one, perhaps? Let me know. Let me know what you're saying. Here we are, Brooks's Bass Corner, coming up to 8:42 here in London town. Here in the UK, you're very welcome to live chat number 57. Got any questions about bass guitars, bass amps, effect pedals, gig bags, accessories, cables, cleaning stuff, you know, this sort of thing. When you're cleaning your bass and the frets and getting all the gloss work back up to standard, looking after your instrument. Got any questions about this stuff? Ask me. If I can help, I'm more than willing to do so. So if you've not been here on the live chat before, this is the video window. If you're on the mobile app, directly below is the live chat window. Put your cursor, your mouser, right? Cursor, pointer, mouse, whatever you want to call it. Stick it in the live chat window. Type your message or your question or your comment. Press send. It'll pop up here on my live chat window and I can respond to it. Bottom of the live chat window, you'll see an emoji icon and a dollar symbol. The emoji icon allows you to add emojis to the conversation. Please feel free to do that. Give it a pummeling if you wish. The more you use emojis, the happier the YouTube algorithm seems to be. So feel free to do that. The dollar symbol is basically your ability to make a financial contribution to the running of the channel. You don't have to, but if you're enjoying the video, enjoy the work here on the channel, feel free to do so. But all the videos are free to watch. Even though we're a monetized channel, you get to watch them for free. The whole nature of YouTube, of course. Kevin Smith, yes, got one for home practice, 15 watt, pretty good. Good. I think that's the one that doesn't have all the effects. Am I right? Or am I wrong? I can't remember. But for 15 watts practicing at home, that's perfectly okay. But then I realise when I'm looking at the camera, what's behind me? So there's like the Messer engineering, like the flagship aircraft carrier of an amp. We've got an SWR Redhead, we've got EBS cabinets here, there and everywhere, Fafner heads, Hartke stuff, Aguilar stuff. So we're talking 15 watt combos here. Very good. As I mentioned earlier, Brooks's Bass Corner merchandise is 20% off at the moment, up until midnight at the end of Thursday this week, the 28th of September. So if you've been thinking about buying some Brooks's Bass Corner merchandise, maybe this is the week to do it. And thank you very much to all the new subscribers. We've had loads in over the past 2 to 3 weeks. Thank you to all the people buying merch. Very much appreciated, guys. Thank you. Thank you to all the new subscribers, people leaving comments, thumbs ups on videos. I've got green arrows across all the analytics at the moment, so thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Thank you for watching the videos. Without you guys, I can't do it. So, or it's basically me talking to myself, which is a scary prospect, to be honest with you. But yeah, so if you've got any questions about gigs, maybe you've got an audition coming up, maybe playing your first gigs ever in your career, maybe you're a late starter, don't be scared. If you need some words of assurance and some handy pointers, ask me if I can help. More than happy to do so. If I don't know the answer, one of the fine people here on Brooks's Bass Corner live chats might well be able to help you out. That's what we're here for. It's gone quiet on the live chat. I think we're lacking a few of the regulars at the moment. They'll probably be here once the football's finished. There's a lot of football here in the UK tonight, so it's probably a little quiet because of that. But such is the situation when you do live chats on a Tuesday evening. It's always going to clash with football at some point. Scott, good to see you. Hope you're well, mate. How's your son getting on with that custom bass? Thank you for the thumbs ups and the likes on Instagram. Thank you for that, sir. Very much appreciated. There'll be some new reels going up on Instagram, possibly tomorrow, actually. First one, I think. And then that will get rolled out across all the social media. When I first started the YouTube channel, there were lots of sort of directives from the YouTube education channel saying, oh, every platform, you've got to do something different. You can't just roll it out the same thing across all the channels. Rubbish now. That is absolute rubbish advice, because so many people have jumped ship from, say, Facebook and are now on Instagram, or have jumped from Twitter to Threads. So you can't do something different for each channel, because it takes way too long. So unless you've got a production team behind you and a separate person doing that, there simply isn't the time to cater to individual platforms. But you have to, or in my point of view, do the same thing as much as you can across the different platforms, because everyone's not everyone's on all 9 platforms that I'm using. So where I've been posting up the old reviews and stuff, it's basically create the post, create the text, get the photos, and then deliver it onto each channel, each platform. I can't, it simply isn't the time to do 9 different posts each time I post something up. Crazy. I accept that when the channel started in 2020, that was probably a given thing, but we didn't have Threads, and Discord suddenly jumped into the stratosphere, and Reddit and Quora, although they're slightly different, you're responding to people's questions rather than just posting up your own stuff. But all these platforms, it's growing again. So David Gill, Scott first. Good, he plays it all the time. Excellent, that was the plan. David Gill, hi Mike, my Sire U5 fretless has arrived and it's amazing. Fabulous, well done, sir. Trying to decide on a pedal to pair with my MXR chorus. Well, if you're playing fretless, you need an octave pedal, my friend. Octave pedal all the way. And perhaps you might want to chuck in a compressor, maybe. There's a book I'm reading called The Fretless Book, which was written in conjunction with Bass Player magazine, I think in 2011. I was reading it last night, a bit of bedtime reading before I dropped off. And almost all of the players that they were interviewing and talking to mentioned that they would use compression with their fretless to keep the dynamics limited, but to keep all the notes even. So if they were playing melodic stuff high up, it wasn't so quiet compared to the lower registers, but also they didn't want the low registers to be overly boomy compared to the top end. So perhaps those should be your next two effects of choice, I would suggest. I don't know what musical project you work in, David, so I don't know kind of the material you're looking at, but if you're going to use a fretless, it's kind of a prerequisite that you're going to need an octave pedal. Take your pick. There are so many on the market and they all sound slightly different to each other. Really, you want to get yourself into a shop and try as many as you can. Thankfully, octave pedals have become so popular that most stores will carry 4, 5, maybe more. Just line them all up, put them on a daisy chain, and try each one out. You'll hear the difference immediately. You're playing jazz and gypsy jazz. Well, again, an octave pedal is going to help you out. It's going to give the top end on your fretless some balls and some body, and it'll sound great. It really will. So yeah, fretless, I'd say stick with your chorus, find an octave pedal that works for you, and perhaps look at a compression pedal just to kind of compress your bass signal. Hey, how about that? What a revelation. But to try and keep your volume and your swells and all of that stuff sort of condensed is what I'm trying to say. What octave pedals do I use? I've got about 5 or 6. So I've got the EBS, I've got the original EBS grey label. I've got the EBS Octabass black label, which I think was from like 2005 maybe. There was an earlier black label. This is the one with true bypass on it. So that's kind of mid to late 2000s. Then the Digitech Drop has an octave effect there. You can't change any parameters, but you can set it to octave plus regular signal, and it's a great sounding octave. I've got the optimizer from Aguilar. Let me think, what else have I got in here? I've got the Poly Blue octave from MXR. There'll be videos and demos going up shortly. And I've got the Vintage Bass octave by MXR. And then obviously we've got the C4 synth and the Spectrum filter from Source Audio. I'm not sure if the filter's got octave stuff in. I haven't got the grips with these pedals yet. It's on the list. But the C4 synth will definitely have some octave filters in there. So if you can get to a store, David, and try some of these out, I would suggest you do so. I wouldn't buy effect pedals blind, i.e. just buy them. You could end up spending a lot of money and having to resell a lot of it. Thoughts on reverb? Yeah, you can do it that way if you wish, but again, unless you can play the things yourself, you're not going to know which one you want. Octave pedals can be a real... You can have an idea in your head what you want your octave sound to sound like, but until you've got them there and you start going through them, you might go and buy 1, 2, 3 and still not find what you want. In which case you bought 1, 2 or 3 pedals and you're going to have to sell them on to... You don't want 10, he says, with 5, but there we go. But they all sound very, very different. But you can buy a reverb if you want. I don't think it's particularly a cost-effective way of buying. I think eBay's probably going to work better in that respect. You'll get stuff cheaper. Yeah, so that's my thoughts. Mr. Lover, hi, good to see you. Mike, noticed most bass cabs have a tweeter, but never seen a tweeter on a guitar cab. Any idea why? No. I would guess it's probably because guitar stuff is so high frequency that if you put a tweeter in there, it would just be overkill, and you're going to get so much string noise coming through it. With basses, it's kind of there to give you that slap, high frequency glassiness, but guitar doesn't kind of work on that principle. And if anything, you see guitar players wanting 12-inch speakers. You don't see that many guitar cabs with 10-inch speakers, or 8s or 5s, or 6s, but you do find bass speakers with 10s, 8, 5s, because we want clarity, we want punch. It's not necessarily what a guitar player wants. They want warmth, and they want distortion, and they want body, not something bass generally lacks. So I would imagine that is probably why. That would be my thoughts on it. I could be completely wrong, but that would be my my take on it. And if you think about guitar players and all the effects they use and distortion and, you know, all the fuzz and everything else, can you imagine that with tweeters? Holy crap. I'd do my head in. Scott, I tried my first set of TI rounds, Thomastic Infeld round wounds. Okay, their round wounds are almost as good as their flats. Good to hear. I've never used any TIs personally. I've never bought a set. I had sets here for video purposes when we did a Christmas consumables video a couple of years ago, but I didn't get to take them out and put them on and see what they were like. Oh, it's good to hear. Good to hear. Very light gauge. Okay. How light's your gauge? Are we talking 3595s, 3090s? Surely not lighter than that. Mr. Lover, yes, makes sense. Cheers, fella. My pleasure. That's what I'm here for. I don't think I've ever seen guitar cab with tweeters in. You're right, I don't. But very often guitar cabs, they don't go for grills like we go for on bass cabs. They've invariably got mesh or tweed coverings or whatever else. Very rare that you see guitar cabs with open grills like this. So you wouldn't know. I would suspect. Thank you very much to all the people that have been watching the old live chats. I've been seeing it on my analytics that some of the old chats are starting to get views often. I don't know if that's because I made some amendments to some of the back end stuff that doesn't really affect you guys watching it, but I changed some of the back end, not analytics. There's certain things we can do on the back end of a video, and I made some adjustments, and all of a sudden a lot of the old live chats are starting to get views. So if you're one of those people who's been going back through the playlist or the live section, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I hope it hasn't sent you to sleep. Some of those live chats can be quite long and it's not easy to scoot through. You know, if someone's got 5 hours to watch the one where we did a record breaking 5.25 hours, then kudos to you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Scott M, I think the gauges were 89 to 43. Well, that's not so light. That's not so light, although the bottom end's quite light. But 89 to 43, that's sort of quite a condensed set of gauges. Are we talking over a 4-string here? We're not talking 5s, are we? I'm assuming that's a 4-string set. So basically it's the same as a 90-45 set. Yeah. Oh well, if it works on that bass for you, good for you. Thomastic are a funny brand of string because they do all this with sort of quite funky gauges and what have you, but you know, fair dues, and they're not cheap, you know, not cheap, but I know a lot of people swear, well, we all know that a lot of flat round players really swear by Thomastic strings. So, but I haven't personally used them. I'm sure I've played some on bases that have either come for review or I've played some on bases in stores. But I've never purchased any myself. So if you're one of the thousands that were at Saltasia at Maidstone on Saturday, thank you very much. We had a great show. If you're wondering who the hell I am, I was the bass player with Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno. We had a great gig. Thank you. And thank you to the Saltasia organisers. They really do look after us very, very well. We've done, I think, 3 or 4 shows for them this year. They've all been belters. So hopefully see you again next year, guys. Look forward to it. Grand job. Thank you. We're now starting to get dates in for next year, festival season. He's hoping we get a load of stuff out in Europe. So as a result of that gig we did in Denmark at the start of August, that should see us back out in Denmark and other festivals in Scandinavia and the rest of Europe. So hope. Scott, I just got the new little Martin acoustic bass model. It's made in Mexico to cut cost. And 24-inch scale. Wowzers. Love it. Excellent. See, this is what I've said it before on the live chat. It's annoying that YouTube don't allow you guys to post up photos. Because Scott said that, but I can't do anything else on the live chat to take that forward. So what led you down that path, Scott? Why did you buy that bass? Did you see a review? Saw it in the shops? What was the thinking there? It's the Martin 000 CJR-10E acoustic electric bass. Very loud unplugged. Excellent. I do like an electroacoustic. I have 3 here. Only 1 in this room. An Ibanez, but I've got 2 Washburns elsewhere in the house. But they're big and they take up space. So they don't come out very often unless I need them on gigs. I saw some reviews and the price made me take the chance. How much? How much was it? For fans of the bass reviews here on the channel, I'm going to be having several Anaconda basses coming through very shortly. Reviews were supposed to be done 2 weeks ago, and then there was a delay in the shipment. So I think it's probably going to be sometime in October. So Anaconda basses, me and Andrew go, I would say way back, but certainly the last 10 years. And some of the first bass reviews on the channel. He stood by me when the channel first started and said, would you like some basses for a review? I said, yes, please. And allowed me to take 3 Essence basses away, brought them here, filmed them, did the first reviews, cut my teeth on the video editing process. Still do that with every video, of course, but yeah, it's we'll have some of the latest versions coming through very soon, so keep your eyes peeled. It's the size of a guitar, cost was something like $750. Oh, very good. It's not bad for a Martin, let's be fair. Well done. Canny purchasing. Well done, Scott. Excellent. I think we're up to date with the messages. Very good. So if you've got any problems with your bass gear, or you're looking to buy something new, or maybe you've got some money burning a hole in your pocket and you're thinking, I could do with a new bass or a new amp or a new combo, new pedal maybe, new gig bag, change of strings even. If you'd like some help or some advice, Please put your comments, your questions in the live chat window. If you're on the mobile version, the live chat window is directly below. If you're on the desktop version, it's that way. And as soon as I see the messages pop up, I'll respond to them. That's how it works. That's how the live chat works here on Brooks's Bass Corner. Tonight is live chat number 57. 57 live chats we've done. Quite unbelievable, really. And that doesn't include the impromptu chats when I'm out gigging. So if you add those into the equation, it's quite a lot more. Mark Aspinall, welcome Mark, good to see you. Hello, what's your recommendation on an audio to MIDI converter? 50-50 split sound. Well, I'm trying to think. I guess you're looking at a Roland thing. Something from Roland, maybe. Are we talking in terms of pickup here? Or I presume you are. You want to take a bass signal, convert it to MIDI so you can run it through MIDI patches, MIDI keyboard. I think you're going to be looking at Roland. I'm not up to date on that sort of stuff. I certainly don't use that sort of technology. Okay. Yes, no pickup. I'll open it to the floor. You find people here on Brooks's Bass Corner, other bass players, what would you suggest? I'm a bit lost on that. I've never really dabbled with MIDI at all. The only thing really that I used MIDI on was, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, you probably can't. On the top of this rack is an Ashdown Superfly amp, which was one of the precursors. Well, actually, no, it came out after Class D amps really started to sort of make an impression. And it's quite hefty compared to current. I can show you, actually. Let me get it there. Compared to current Class D amps, let me get this. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's a lot better if I can show you. All right. So it came with this lovely padded bag, and back in the days when we were carrying big old amps, this was like a breath of fresh air. So, let me get this. Can I get this out? Oh, I can. And I loved this amp for a while. The only thing I really wasn't keen on was the treble response was just not what I wanted. I wanted a bit more glassiness and couldn't do it. This is a bit more rock than funky glassiness, but that's by the by. Right, let me get this out and show you. Why isn't it coming out? Oh, I see, it's kind of stuck a bit on the pad. Right, so this is an Ashdown Superfly. You've never seen one. It was really well designed, great features, got a nice carry handle. And basically, because most of you will know, Mark Gooday at Ashdown was one of the big cheeses at Trace Elliott. So many years ago, Trace Elliott had a product called the MP11, I think. Basically allowed you to store, I think, was it 10? I think it was 10 separate EQs. So if you wanted 10 different bass sounds with 10 different EQ patches, someone like Mark King was making good use of it. You know, different songs, he'd want a mid-range honk, and then he'd want like a bass and a treble boost, and then he might want like a flat EQ for something. And anyway, he made good use of it. So along the way, Mark thought, we can do stuff with technology now. So this amp allowed you to store 99 EQ presets. Now, okay, the EQ is slightly smaller than a Trace Elliott GP11 or GP12, and they added the extra 30 hertz slider. But this also allowed you to add and take away compression. So on the back, so not only was there a USB connection, there's a MIDI socket. So I bought the Tech 21, it's called the MIDI mouse. And I think further down the line, they then introduced a thing called the MIDI moose, which was a bigger pedal. But basically the MIDI mouse was an up and a down switch. So one goes up, one goes down. That allowed you to scroll through MIDI banks presets just by number. And that was my attempt to use it. Unfortunately, the amp had a couple of gigs where it decided to play up a little and didn't inspire confidence. I couldn't turn up to gigs and my amp didn't work, and I had EBS gear. And Class D stuff was getting lighter and lighter. And before, a year or two after I got this in 2006, you suddenly thought, actually, this is really heavy compared to what's out there now. So I haven't used it in a long, long time. Still works fine. But I just had one or two gigs where it could well have been the power at the gig. Just caused it to have a bit of a brain fart. But it is what it is. But that's my only sort of dalliance into MIDI stuff, really. And I bought all the bits and pieces to make it my ongoing setup. And then in the end, it was like, I don't need 99 EQs. You know, my amp, or the way, actually round about that times when I moved over to making the Status Empathy my main gigging bass. So I kind of decided with my EBS amplification, I'd set my sound up on the amp, and then any adjustments I needed to do, I'd do it on the bass rather than the amplifier. A lot of people set their bass flat and then twiddle with the amp. I did it the other way. I set my sound, my basic sound, basic tone on the amp. And then as we're going through the songs, if I need more treble, I've got it. I need a mid-range boost, I've got it. I need more bottom end, I've got it. That's kind of the way I worked. Ross Tabbitt. Oh, sorry. Ross Tabbitt. Hey, good to see you. You're new to the channel. I don't have seen you before. What's weather like where you are at? Today, well, now it's pitch black because it's 9:10 at night. Today we were meant to get rain and then it was supposed to dry up. The rain never appeared. It was overcast this morning, sunny this afternoon, 21, 22 degrees maybe today. More of the same forecast for the next week. Can't lose. Mark Aspinall, yes, no, pickup, done that. Mark, again, want to run a Korg MS 2000 synth, but can't afford the pickup. Are you in the UK, Mark? Or are you in the US or Europe, or where are you? If you're in the UK, I'd suggest you go somewhere like PMT or maybe Guitar, because they will have the keyboard. You're in Lee in Lancashire. Okay. I would suggest you go to one of those stores because they will have all the keyboardy stuff as well. So, you know, they will have, between the keyboard department and bass department, they should be able to sort out a solution in order for you to do that. But I would go into a store. Don't try and do it all online. You might need people who know what they're doing to at least allow you to do a demo of it. Mr. Lover, have you any experience with Sambo basses? Yes. Thinking of getting a TM4. Fabulous. Single coil and Music Man pickups. Do it. You won't be disappointed. Are you going to have one built for you? Are you having a custom bass, or are you going to take one straight off the rack? What are you going for? I can highly recommend, so TM4 is fabulous. If you haven't already checked one out, check out a Chris Childs Enigma bass. They do a 4 and a 5 string. It's exactly that. Music Man pickup, and I think it's a split coil instead of a single coil. But the humbucker can be split. I think that happens on the TM4 as well. But check out that. Great bass. Really good. They do come up secondhand as well. Not that expensive. Mark Aspinall, have a Boss DR5 drum machine that does the job, but it triggers off string noise, which sends it nuts. That's why you want the pickup, really, I think. Yeah, I think you're going to need a pickup. to get around that. Roland is going to have the solution you're going to need. I mean, there was the Roland V bass, but again, you've got to install the pickup. That might, and actually I see V bass units go quite cheaply actually these days. I nearly took the plunge, early 2000s, maybe around 2003, 2004, 2005. I was looking seriously at a V bass and just buying a Music Man Stingray, sticking that pickup in, and I thought that would solve a lot of things I wanted to do. And in the end, I went, nah, I'll buy the instruments. I wasn't convinced I'd be able to get all the famous bass sounds that I wanted. You'll get approximations, but you won't get the exact thing. And I thought I could see which way my path was going, because I was buying GB basses and Status basses and Spectre and various other things. And I thought, there's no way that V bass is going to sound like an alembic. Alembics are alembics. You want an alembic sound, you've got to buy an alembic bass. Simple. And I wasn't convinced that the V bass would do that. Yeah, we're up to date on that chat. So that would be my advice, I think, Mark. Go to somewhere like PMT or Guitar, where they have keyboard departments, guitar departments, bass departments. They will have something in stock, even if it's not what you want. You can have a chat with someone who maybe knows what they're talking about. I don't really, if I'm honest. Want to go off on a square pusher groove, okay? Okay, yeah. I think that's the best thing. I think don't buy stuff in the hope it's going to do it. I think you need to go into a store and sort of try the stuff, get it in your hands and think, is this what I want? Because once you go down that MIDI road, it can be very expensive if you don't get it right the first time or first couple of times. Clearly there are other people doing it as well, so you know, if you can find the interviews with them online or on YouTube, even if there are any like well-known bass players. I think the guy that plays with Florence and the Machine does that. I've forgotten his name, bald-headed guy. Email him, find his social media, send him a message. He might be able to point you in the right direction. Good plan, sir. Have a look on YouTube. Has the solution for everything else in life, it seems. Any further questions, ladies and gents? Anyone out doing some gigs? Where are you playing? Where have you been playing past week or two? Where will you be playing this weekend? What gear are you taking? Don't forget, if you're enjoying the video, enjoying the channel, enjoying all the content that we do here, at the bottom of the live chat window, there's a dollar symbol, which is next to the emoji icon. Allows you to make a financial contribution to the channel. Don't have to. The videos are free. If you wish to do so, though, it helps the channel, helps to prolong us doing this, allows me to get all the stuff in for the reviews, the demos, and what have you. So that's called Super Chat. Underneath the video window, you'll see next to the thumbs up, thumbs down, share, shop, clip options, you'll see a love heart with a dollar symbol in. That's called Super Thanks. Works exactly the same as Super Chat. So if you wish to make a financial contribution or a donation to the channel, it can be very small or large, so entirely up to you. Feel free to do so. That option is available. Here we are. I have the GB Rumour, my 50th birthday bass here. It's a fine beast. This will be coming back out on gigs once the bass string experiment series finishes. It needs setting up at the moment. A truss rod tweak wouldn't go amiss. Mark Aspinall, Nag's Head, Macclesfield, with a 39-year-old Colesborough amp doing Sex Pistols. Wowzers. With a £100 J&D bass. Excellent. Well, look, if the amp's working, it's doing what you need, go with it, my man. Go with it. One of my old basses belongs to a friend of mine. Carlsberg. No, it's not a Carlsberg. Carlsborough Cobra. Yeah. Carlsborough Cobra. 90 watt. Had like a 5-band EQ, I think, on it. He still got it. I bought that amp in October 1989. So that makes it 34 years old. It's still going. He uses it for gigs, rehearsals. Good on you, mate. It's still hanging in there, I think. Oh, dear. You can hear the string buzz. Truss rod needs adjusting. And also we've got climatic changes as the weather's changing as well. You bought it in 1983. Wow. I think you've had your money's worth out of it then. When does it turn 40? It's got to be soon. You've only got 3 months left. Yeah. You'll be coming back out on the road soon. There we are. So if you've got any questions, any comments, anything you'd like to ask about what's here on the channel, maybe you've seen some of the videos, some of the interviews, some of the reviews, some of the feature videos. Anything you'd like to ask about the bass collection, maybe you've seen the bass collection video. If you've got any questions about anything here on the channel, feel free to ask. If I can help, more than willing to do so. That's what I'm here for. So the Precision will be back out this week. I haven't done a Queen gig for a couple of weeks. So this Mexican, I think it's a 2017, 2018. It's got to be done, hasn't it, really? Doing the John Deacon thing. So this will be getting a run out. These strings are on their way as well. These have been on since middle of May last year, 2022. I can foresee a lot of string changing going on in the next couple of months. Between this, the Status, that Ibanez Thomann, it's going to get a string change. My Stingray's probably due one. My GB Kingfisher Blue Rumour, that's due a string change. One of the Alembics needs a string change as well. There's going to be a lot of strings going on, isn't there? There's going to be some of these live chats. Some of these Tuesdays are going to be done in the workshop. Especially the Status. When those strings give up the ghost and we get to the end of the bass string experiment series, I will do that restringing will be on one of our live chats. So if you've got any questions about what I'm doing at the workbench and how I do stuff, I'll be able to show you while we're there. Steffi, I better get going. Good night, everyone. See you next week. Cheers, Steffi. Take care. Happy base purchasing whenever that occurs. Take care. Why people ask me, why do you do that? It's like, because if I do it like this, you can't see it. But it does mean all my angles are slightly mucked up. That string might need a little raising, I suspect. I think we've got a bit of tarnishing on the brass bridge here. I will get the Never Dull out. That will get it back up. So when this needs a restring, you see that saddle? You can't really see it. It's gone very dark, bottom half of it. It's brass tarnishing. Little bit of Never Dull wadding. That'll be gleaming. If you don't know what I'm talking about, have a look at a couple of the workshop videos here on Brooks's Bass Corner. You'll see I use Never Dull wadding to clean the frets. Does the business. But you have to make sure you've masked the fingerboard up before you do it. Otherwise it just ends up being a cloudy mess on your fingerboard, especially the darker timbers. Here's Stacey wishing Steffi a good night. Also out of tune. There we go. Let's get her in tune for the weekend. Oh, feel the vibration through the bass. Yeah, something needs a tweak there. Probably a saddle, just a bit. We're going through that time of year when we're getting cooler outside and the air pressure's changing, and you know, air temperature is changing as we go into autumn. We're in autumn. And now we get a couple of days where it gets warmer again. The necks are shifting, you hear it. I can be in here working in quiet and you'll suddenly hear ping, ping, ping. All these different little tones as the necks just move slightly and the strings are pinging. Happens this time of year, and then it happens again round about March time when the temperature changes and we come out of winter. Scott M, it would be time to set up my humidifier soon. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about, Scott. We're just very lucky that we're getting this second sort of warm sweep here in the UK. We had a really good couple of weeks at the start of September. We're getting another little bout of it now. It's good, keeps the temperature up. That's what we want. because Lord knows when it gets cold here, it'll get cold, and then the basses suffer a bit. Yeah, I hear you, Scott. I know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah. This is the one. Well, I always expect to get a load of problems with this when the temperature changes, but it doesn't give me too much grief, to be honest. Kind of set it up once, and occasionally all it needs is literally a quarter turn on each truss rod, and it just sits back in where it should. Yeah. Gray. Oh no, George. Sorry. So I saw G, and I suddenly thought it was Graham Potts. George, good to see you, mate. Missed the last couple. Good to be back. Welcome. You'll be off to work shortly then. You know you can always watch them at a later date. These strings need changing. They've been on for, goodness me, 2017, 2018 maybe. Scott, did you see Ampeg have just released a new series of heads and cabs? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. The problem is they'll do that, and then in the next 18 months they'll release another reiteration of the classic line. Let's see. Ooh. We're out a bit. There we go. I want to get this out on some Uncle Funk shows. The only thing is we move about quite a bit on stage, and I can just see this getting walloped. There. It's a big old headstock. Just see it. I can just see it now. I'm going to turn and just go bang. And either I'll catch someone or hit a mic stand or something. It's a pleasure to play. The only thing is it's big and long and hefty, but the tones. Thank you, Scott. I like it too. That's why I bought it. I was watching for the uninitiated, possibly a lot of you on the other side of the pond. We have a bass player. He's still alive, I think, in this country called Colin. Let me just check my. He's been in a band called Backdoor. My history. I was watching some clips of him the other day. Just bear me 2 seconds. Can't remember his surname. Colin Hodgkinson. There we go. If you don't know who I'm talking about, check him out. He plays bass like a guitar. He kind of comes from the 60s, 70s, 80s. He was in Whitesnake for a period. totally, that's not what his playing is about. Mark King's very inspired by him. A lot of other bass players, but he came out of a time when the shadows were kind of the thing, and that's not how he wanted to play bass. He was a guitar player, but he plays a precision like a guitar. It's quite a thing to see, I have to say. And yeah, well worth checking out. So the band he was in was called Backdoor, but there were some other bits and pieces. Just search for either Backdoor or Colin Hodgkinson. Outstanding bass player, still alive, hell of a player. They don't really show up in this light. I think the battery's dulling a bit as well. Oh. So it's coming up to, what's that, 23 minutes to 10 here in the UK, here in London town. Very welcome. Live chat number 57 here on Brooks's Bass Corner. Stacey's saying hi to George. Mark Aspinall, what's your favourite bands? Woo! Okay, don't shoot me down. You did ask. So my favourite bands, there's quite a few. But I'll rattle them off. So my main two bands were Queen and Duran Duran. My bass playing history was a tale of two Johns, John Taylor and John Deacon. And then we move on from those two. We're looking at Prince. We're looking at Ed Graham. Good to see you. Talking Prince. We're talking Level 42. We're talking Roachford, Sly and the Family Stone, The Police. Yes, we're a huge band for me. Mr. Big band for me. Favourite band at the moment is a band from the UK called Young Guns Silver Fox, who are just outstanding, amazing harmonies, great playing, great musicianship. I love loads of stuff, Mark, but my two main big bands were Queen and Duran Duran. You can throw Toto in there, in the also rans as well. Dan Reed Network, one of my favourite bands. Extreme, Spin Doctors. There's loads. I could literally take over the live chat and just tell you all the bands I liked. It would just fill up the whole time. Kev Mack, good to see you. Hello. Better late than never. Always. You're always welcome. When you get here, you get here. That's fine. Scott, I have to go. Hope you all have a great night. Cheers, Scott. Take it easy. Let me know how things are going with that bass. Your son's bass. Anytime, Scott. We're here every Tuesday through till December the 19th. They're all booked up, which takes us up to live chat 69, would you believe? So we will start the new year, once we get past Christmas, New Year. The first live chat after New Year will be live chat 70. Cheers, Scott. Yep, see you next week, my friend. Take it easy. We're here every week. The only week when we're not here on a Tuesday will be October the 30th, which is the Monday. I need the 31st off, but we'll be here the night before. Oh, got to announce, haven't I? I didn't say last week, I don't think. I will have a podcast in the next couple of weeks. 6 episodes, see how it goes. 30 minutes in length. Will probably be on a Monday, I think, probably 9 o'clock in the morning. So then it goes across all the different platforms and what have you. Answering base questions. Have you got any questions? Anything you want to ask? Looking for some advice? Just looking for information? You can by all means put it in here. Put it on the social media, community tab, whatever works for you. And like I say, we'll do 6 episodes of 30 minutes each. See how they go. If it dies a death, I won't do any more. If it works really well or goes somewhere, start to see some momentum, then I'll do a load more. We'll see how it goes. And if you've got any questions, any base questions, obviously for tonight's live chat, stick them in the live chat window. But anything you'd like to see discussed on the podcast, again, stick it in. And I might well take that question and use it in the podcast, and we'll see how we discuss it. Oh. Here we are, live chat 57. In description box below, underneath the video window, you'll find links to merchandise. So if you're after some Brooks's Base Corner merchandise, and I should say all merchandise between now and end of play on Thursday this week, the 28th of September, all merchandise, no matter where you are in the world or what you're ordering, has 20% off. You heard it right, my friends, 20% discount on all Brooks's Base Corner merchandise. There's a link to the UK and European store in the description box below. And there's also a link to the US and worldwide store. Graham, you need to buy that new hoodie. Now's the time, my friend. 20% off. So if you wanted another one, Paul Graham, he bought a hoodie a couple of months back, wore it to a gig, I think a function, wasn't it, Graham? And had it stolen. What can I say? Clearly, Brooks's Base Corner merchandise is highly desirable. But if you're going to buy another one, Graham, probably this week is the time to do it. 20% off. So, yeah. So links are in the description box, along with affiliate sales links for Amazon, Thomann, Gear for Music, and Andertons. So if you've got any bass related purchases coming up and you think, can I help Mike in any way? If you don't want to make a financial donation towards the channel, that's fine. But you can help if you have a bass purchase. If you're going to buy anything and you potentially might use Thomann, Amazon, Gear for Music, or Andertons, if you use the affiliate links, go through, add the products to your basket, pay for the products, go through with the transaction, the channel will receive a very small commission. Much less than the commission on the merchandise. But, you know, if there's something you want, New strings, new pedals, gig bag, leads, cleaning materials, new bass, new amp, all of that sort of thing. If you use the affiliate links in description box below, and you'll find the same links on every video here on the channel, please feel free to do so. One of our regulars here, Martin from Dublin, not here at the moment, has bought quite a bit this year from Thomann, and he's used the affiliate links every time. Thank you, Martin. Mark, didn't ask you. So rude, I'm sorry. What's your favourite bands? The fact you haven't replied to what my favourite bands are would lead me to believe you're probably there laughing, going, I can't believe he's just mentioned all those bands, because the fact that you play punk probably means you don't like any of the bands I just mentioned. Each to their own. Let's check I'm getting everything here. That's the setting. And thankfully that advert has gone as well for Hobbycraft. Thank goodness. Oh. Mark Aspinall, Motorhead, Hawkwind, John Schofield and Gong. That's an eclectic selection, but well done. Bit of Motorhead, bit of Lemmy, can't go wrong with that. John Schofield's fabulous. Gong I've never really got into. Hawkwind, not my bag. I remember I used to be in a covers band with Steve and Pete from FM. And apparently Lemmy was a huge fan of FM back from like when they first started in the mid-80s. And I think Steve was in a bar with Lemmy once, and he came out, he thought, God, he's going to punch me or something. He said, I love your band. I love harmonies. Your band do harmonies better. And it was Steve did all the harmonies pretty much. No, Lemmy loved FM. I thought he was going to tell me that Lemmy punched him or something. He said, no. Gave me like a big hug, shook my hand. Said he loved FM for the harmonies. So, lots of jazz rock. Good. Punk, fusion. All good stuff. Excellent. So what bass have you got, Mark? What? Oh, the J&D 100-pounder. Any other basses, or is that the only instrument you've got? You've got three: a JV Squire, very nice, and an Ernie Ball 1990 Stingray. Have you got a Stingray, or is it a Sabre? I don't think the Sterlings had come out at that point, so it's going to be one of those two, I would imagine. Stingray. Whoa, 2-pot. Lovely. Very nice. So I would assume that has a gloss neck. I used to own Mark King's old 4-string Stingray, 3-band EQ. It was an 89/90 on the Ernie Ball database. And that had a gloss neck. Played great. What colour? What colour have you got? I've got a teal one here now, but the Mark King one was translucent red. I've got translucent teal here. One volume, one tone. The Stingray? No. 2-band EQ. Stingray with 2 pots, unless someone's been in there and been tinkering. I've noticed most have 3. It's Bird's Eye, Maple and Ash, I think. Yeah. If it's only got 2 controls, Mark, someone's, pardon my French, fucked about with it. It shouldn't be like that. I assume it's still active. It should be 3 or 4 controls. If it's 3, it'll be active with a 2-band EQ, and if it's got 4 controls, it's active with a 3-band EQ. I think you've probably got the 2-band EQ, mate, so it'll be 3 controls. Volume, bass, treble. Volume, treble, bass, one or the other. It'll be one way round, either way. Okay. Thank you to the new subscriber. We have a new subscriber since we've started tonight's live chat. Thank you very much, whoever you are. Maybe it's you, Mark. Oh, it's not dated on that page. That should be 30. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. If you are subscriber 3031, welcome. Good to see you. You're very welcome. You're getting it out to have a look. Excellent. It is like wearing a wardrobe, but what a tone. The Kenyan Skeptic. Welcome, Kenyan Skeptic, all the way from Kenya. Good to see you. Thank you for checking us out. This is Brooks's Bass Corner. I'm Mike Brooks. You are welcome. You got any questions about bass gear, bass guitars, amplifiers, pedals, strings, gig bags, bass accessories, anything I can help you with, let me know and I'll happily help you if I can. We'll grab a quick drink while we're at it. It has 3 pots, not 2. Okay, I need to get it out and play it. It will be volume, treble and bass, I think. Yes, bass is towards the end. That's right. But you've got a classic one there. So if you've got the Bird's Eye Maple neck and fingerboard on translucent ash natural, that's a cracker. My Stingray's here actually. 2 seconds. Oi. There we go. This is my current Stingray. One of them. It's translucent teal with an abalone plate. It's not really bird's eye maple, sadly. It's one of the wax necks. This was made in 1999. It's the gloss necks had long since departed at that point. Done a few gigs. I don't use it a lot live. Used it more for recording, to be honest, but the status kind of took over. But this one, this is kind of, well, if you haven't already seen, there's a video on the channel where I review this. This is the pickup's been replaced with an Aguilar Music Man unit, but also the EQ, the circuitry's all been changed. So basically this is the John East 3-band Music Man replacement. So the bass and treble are more akin to the 2-band from 1976, so like the original circuit. That's how they're voiced. There's then a treble boost on the volume pot, which gives you an extra glassy top end, which is a bit like the Sabre basses. I've got mids that are sweepable, so there's volume, boost and cut, and then there's the mid sweep. Bass does what it does, and then inside on the circuit there's little jumper settings, so you can change the bandwidth of the mids. There's a lower and an upper section, but whatever it's set to, I don't know. John set it for me when I had it fitted 10 years ago. It's done fine. So yeah, that's mine. You've got rosewood fingerboard, excellent. Okay, Stacy, that's a real beauty. The abalone and teal really pops. It does. That's why I had, it was just a general black plate when I bought it. So I had a black perloid one done, and then thought, yeah, that's all right, but I think I can still do better. And I got the same guy to cut me an abalone plate, which is what you see here. So it looks like a shell. Very aquatic, along with the teal. Green tune. Yep. That one's out. I still would prefer this to be a gloss neck though. I think they sound better. I think they sound better and play better. Plays great though. Oh, not getting the harmonics popping out. That's better. Cheers, Mark. Yes, it is a lovely bass. I'm doing that because I've got to do screen captures, which I use on social media tomorrow to say to people, you know, the video's up there to be watched if you want to watch it. Just coming up at 10 o'clock. If you're just tuning in, welcome. It's live chat number 57 here on Brooks's Bass Corner. I'm Mike Brooks. Good to see you. We do this every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. UK time, all the way from London town here in the UK. Got any questions about bass guitars, bass amplifiers, pedals, speakers, gig bags, leads, strings, anything to do with bass guitars. If I can help you, offer you some advice, point you in the right direction, that's what I'm here for. If I don't know the answer, I'll open it up to the rest of the fine learned bass players that we have here that frequent Brooks's Bass Corner live chats. This is number 57. I can't believe it myself. We've done 57 scheduled live chats since the channel began back in 2020. So if you've followed me along that path and the journey, thank you very much. Very much appreciated. To all the new subscribers, welcome. Good to see you. Good to have you along. And for all those who like the videos, leave comments, generally support the channel and the social media channels on the platforms, thank you very much. Can't do it without you guys, so thank you. To all the people buying the merch, thank you. Got any questions, guys? Fire away. Let's have them. What do I think to these? Oh, what do you think to these? That's okay. Have another go. Oh dear. It's better. Oh. Here we go. Mark, mini amps, Trace, Elliott and Orange and stuff. What do you think? Have you used any? Yes, sir. Right, mini amps. Let's do this. So I mentioned the Ashdown Superfly earlier. Then for a number of years, quite a lot of years actually, I was using EBS Fafner amps, but I always kept this GK MB200 in my gig bag from 2011, I think. 2011, 2000, yeah, it was 2011. It would always be there as the spare, but I then started to use it when we went abroad in my old covers band. I'd take that as the amp because the amp at the place where I was playing was rubbish, and this was superb. And then I started to use this on gigs where I just really couldn't be bothered to be carrying a large amp for either what was a small gig or a sizable gig that was going to have PA reinforcement. So I used that with the EBS Neo 212 down here on some very, very big gigs, big audience, big venue, and it was fine, perfect, no problems at all. I then bought the Gensbenz Shuttle 9.2, used that for quite a while, love that amp, have no problems with that. I did buy a Trace Elliott Elf, and it's in the pocket of one of the basses here to my left. I use it occasionally on gigs, but it's always there as a backup in case my amp goes down. My regular amp is a Aguilar AG700. Bigger gigs, it's the DB751. But a lot of the gigs I do at the moment, I don't use backline. I use IEMs and a pedal board, and I my signal goes out via a Aguilar tone hammer pedal, which is basically the guts of a tone hammer amp without the power section. But yeah, the mini amps save your back. Your body will thank you enormously. I destroyed my back from years of carrying Hartke 4x10 XL cabs, and then the EBS Pro lines, which I have here. I have two of those, and carrying heavy gear because there was no alternative. And then when the light gear first appeared in Neo cabs, it was very expensive, but as time went on, it came down in price. I'm a strong advocate for Neo cabs, and if it costs a little more, just think of your health. Don't be one of these guys with a crippling back condition because you were too proud to invest in your future. So small lamps, they have a place. If you compare a Class D amp and a Neo cab with a solid state or a valve amp with heavy duty cabinets, you're going to hear a difference. They're not direct comparisons like for like, but you know, are the people going to hear the difference? Probably not. Are they going to notice the difference? Probably not. So just, you know, look after yourself from someone who's been through that situation. So yeah, come back to me with comments on that, Mark, if you wish. Kev Mac, what year was that Alembic? The Mark King Signature Standard was, or is, a 1999. I didn't have it made. It was made for someone else. I bought it second hand. I'm the second owner, as far as I'm aware. But the serial number and the brass plate confirm it is a 1999 model. "24 years old. Have you got an Alembic, Kev? Is that why you're asking? Or you just have a passing interest in Alembic basses? Time for a top up on the old drink. Cheers, everyone. Hope you're having a good evening. Thank you for joining in tonight. Very much appreciated, of course. Kev, it's a beauty. It is, correct. But I've always loved them. Now they're more than my car. Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, it wasn't cheap when I bought it. And Alembics have always been on the dear side. Although, if you go on the Alembic Club, plenty of people will tell you stories about when they bought an Alembic and it was less than $1,000. So I don't know if an Alembic, apart from the cheap end, like the Essence and is it Epic? Can't remember. There were two models that were reasonably cheap. You might have got those for under £1,000 here in the UK and under $1,000 in the US, but apart from that, everything's pretty much over a grand at the bottom end, and then it just takes off, doesn't it? We know, anyone who's a fan of Alembic basses will be well aware. You know, you want one built for yourself, you're kind of looking at 15 to 20,000 now. I think there's no such thing as a cheap Alembic, put it that way. And the sky's the limit. As much as you want to spend, you can have it if you're willing to spend. You know, spend the money. They are the bases of dreams, in my opinion. Excuse me, that's my stomach. Yes, you were fed about 2 hours ago, 2.5. Mark Aspinall, is it true that Vox early speakers were Carlsberg before the classic Vox Blue speaker? I couldn't tell you. That's before my time. Although I'm 51 years old, that is just a little beyond my time. People who were there at the time might well be able to answer that question. Anyone out there know? Anyone else got an insight into that? It's possible, I guess. Carlsberg speakers and Carlsberg gear has been around for decades. And actually, about 11 years ago, we had a load of, so Carlsberg did a whole new range of gear, but it was all vintage styled. So that was back in 2012. And I remember thinking, the stuff in 1992 looked far more, not futuristic, but contemporary and up to date than this stuff they've sent us for this review. So that would have been, 20 years on. For whatever reason, back in 2012, obviously Carlsberg thought vintage styling was the name of the game. He played all right, but when you put it up against like modern gear, you can really hear the difference big time. Very much so. I used to really love my Carlsberg combo, but its limitations were evident, put it that way. It had this weird compressor on it that it only had one control. So you press the black button in, and then you turn the dial up, which was obviously the compression ratio. And it had this weird thing that if you then played a note like really loud, it would just go. It was like a mammoth coming into the room, and you'd think, all I need is release and attack. That's really the only two controls you need here. But they've just literally put this labeled compressor and a dial, and obviously that was the ratio. My God, it was useless really as a compressor, because it was just the most basic compressor possible, really. Kev Mac, do you ever use the red head behind you? I've only just bought it, Kev. I bought it in towards the end of June from a guy called Andy up near Bolton. And I've always been a big fan of SWR stuff, although I never owned any. I think I said last week I'd had my first proper rig was a Hartkey rig, a 4x10 XL and a 3500 head. So as long as that was working and doing the business, I didn't really fall into the SWR thing really during the 90s. And then when the Hartkey started to give me grief, which was around about 2001, 2002, I did look at some SWR stuff, but their reliability had started to go a bit. And EBS was kind of the new stuff that was turning heads here in the UK anyway. And I was sold hook, line and sinker on a 4x10 Pro line and a Fafner cab. And then I ended up buying an extra 210 and an extra 4x10. And that kind of worked for 16 years for me. So the whole SWR thing kind of passed me by. Because between the Hartkey and the EBS stuff, that was the kind of big active period for SWR. But because I chose both of those brands, I didn't really use the SWR stuff. And but I always had good memories of the SWR Redhead. This is a super Redhead. Came out sort of after 2002. A friend of mine, Steve Davis, even Steve, if you're out there, he used to have a regular Redhead, and I used it on a gig once, and I really liked the tone. And kind of at sometime last year, and I think they've still got it. I think they've got two. They had two of these at the gallery in Camden. And I thought, do you know what? It's a classic amp. You know, I can do some great content on the YouTube channel. It's a great combo to have. The preamp's fabulous. I really should get one of these. And then this guy, Andy, posted his one up for sale on Bass Chat. And I thought, but he's at the other end of the country. And then I had to take a journey up that way in the summer. And I contacted him and said, you still got that amp? Went, yeah. I said, good. I'm coming to see you. And so I bought it. And only the past couple of days I've kind of plugged it in and started playing basses through it. So that's fabulous. Everything I thought it would be. And there will be a load of content using it going up on the channel. I can't say when. I've got so many other things I need to put up on the channel, but there will be content with it. So that's my answer to that one. It could well come out on some gigs at some point. But like I say, at the moment, a lot of my gigs aren't using backlight. It's all the Uncle Funk stuff is in ears, pedal board. Queen stuff I use setup, but again with that, I'm using the Aguilar SL212. There's one here behind me. The other one's in the garage, and I'm using the AG700 head. So a 2x10 super red head probably isn't going to be enough welly on a Queen gig, but it will come out on some gigs at some point. Kev, I still use my SM400. They were great heads. And cabs still love it. Old school. Well, that's the thing. It kind of is old school, but the preamps on them were so good and the power sections were so good. They were kind of as bass. Well, Trace had already been around for a while, but SWR sort of came in with a lot of the Hartke stuff came a little after SWR had started to make waves. Then you had all the Edens stuff. And you're starting to get all the technological advances coming through. But it's great, SWR stuff. But I remember speaking to Chris Ward, who used to be the in-house technician at the Bass Centre, still is. He does all the setting up on the basses at the Bass Centre. But when the Bass Centre was in Wapping, I remember having a chat with him when Hartke first sort of went down and it was going in to be repaired. And I said, look, is there any brand that is really better than any others reliability-wise? He went, no. He said, they all have their issues. He said, you could pull any of the Trace Elliots out and I'll know what the things are that might go wrong. He said, same with the SWR, same with the Ampeg, same with the Hartke, same with the Eden. He said, nothing beats anything else. It's just differences in tone and tone shaping predominantly. And I thought, well, if anyone's going to know, it's him. He works in the biggest bass store in Europe, and they have so much gear coming in and out for repair and being sold, because at that time the Bass Centre was pretty much one of the only distributors of stuff from the US. Whether it was amplification, basses, you know, you wanted a Kubicki, came through the Bass Centre. That's the way it all kind of worked. And you want a pedala, it's coming through the Bass Centre. You want a Lembeck, it's coming through the Bass Centre. That was the deal. So he was going to see all that stuff firsthand. So, yeah, great gear. And like I say, I bought this at the end of June. It just hasn't made it into the office. Well, it has now, and it's part of the wall of shame, of course. So there's a whole load of different stuff here. At some point, I'd like to get all this connected up at some point so I can just plug and play as I want. That'll happen. Whether I've got the time or the inclination to get behind this lot and rig it all up, that's a different thing. But at the moment, there's a couple of bits. There's a plug board there. But it's very rare I get to play at volume. My partner works from home. So during the day, it's headphones all the way. Whereas when she used to be out every day working, I could make an absolute din here. So if I was depping or had dep gigs coming up, I'd fire up my EBS rig and we'd go for it. You know, the neighbours were very accommodating, I have to say. But I'm quite mindful about trying not to make too much of a row, you know. Anyone else sharing in the SWR loving? Feel free, let's hear your voices. We're still on 3,031 subscribers. Well done, gang. Feel free to share the channel with your friends, other bass playing or musical colleagues. It's all good. I've had a few people ask me lately, you know, your numbers aren't rocketing. And it's like, well, no, but I'm not in control of that. Yes, I can keep producing content and numbers will come that way. But I'd rather have 3,000 people that got involved in the channel, bought the merch, commented on videos, attend the live chats, than have 20,000 people who never watch anything. And it's just a number. Big subscriber numbers are great for sponsorship. But there are channels with huge subscriber numbers, but those subscribers never watch anything on that channel. I'd rather have 3,000 subscribers who kind of have an interest in what we're doing here than having huge numbers that never frequent the channel. Kev, I live in a duplex, so I play through a Paul Jones double. You mean a Phil Jones, do you? Phil Jones double 4. Understood. I hear you. See, I can see 9 notifications on my YouTube studio. Nothing for me to worry about. Very good. Here we are. So we'll be here again next Tuesday from 8, and every Tuesday up until Christmas. December the 19th is the last one before we stop for Christmas and New Year. There will be some impromptu live chats over the holiday season, I promise you that. The only Tuesday we're not doing is Halloween, October 31st, but we'll be here on the Monday the 30th. I'll remind you nearer the time. But at the moment, all the live chats up until December 19th are all booked in here on the YouTube channel. So if you want to receive a notification to remind you, just go into the channel, go to the live section or upcoming videos, or the live chat playlist. You'll see all the videos listed there. If you click on any of them, it'll take you through to basically the live window. And you'll see a grey button there that says notify me. If you click on that, it'll then say notification on, and YouTube will let you know around about 20, I think it's 15 to 20 minutes before that live chat happens. So you'll get notified that live chat is coming up. And you can do that for any of the live chats. You can give the videos thumbs up before we've even done them, if you wish to do so. Mark Aspinall, do you record your own stuff? What DAW do you use, if any? I don't do a whole lot of original material. I did up until about 2000, 2001, 2002. And then I made a conscious decision to go down the covers route. I had a mortgage and bills, and the problem I was finding was every time I was doing original gigs, they were clashing with doing paid covers work. A lot of that covers work was paying very handsomely. Thank you very much. And I basically had to make a decision. I couldn't keep turning away good paydays for doing original material that would probably lead nowhere. I had no hand in the writing of doing original gigs, all the costs, the fuel, the parking, potentially getting parking fines, got to pay for your drinks, pay for your food. It made no sense. So recording at home on my own material, no, don't do that. I do record audio at home for the YouTube videos, of course. Usually I'm plugging the bass directly into my Audient Sono interface, which I can see on my desk straight ahead of me. Then that just goes into my PC, all gets recorded using Audacity, and that's the audio you hear on the videos. But no, I don't write or record my own stuff. I will get round to using Reaper at some point. I need to become au fait with that. for some video projects that are coming up. But in terms of writing my own material, no, sorry, Mark. I've played on original stuff. I've worked with original artists occasionally, if I'm being paid to do so. Record company based things, but I don't play original material for free. That's one thing I kind of put my foot down about a long time ago, because invariably it takes up time. I don't have time to waste anymore. I've got gigs not coming out my ears, but I get quite busy, and if there's stuff to learn, that takes time. Keeping the YouTube channel running, that takes a lot of time, and there's only so many hours in the day. I can't afford to be doing original gigs not being paid for them. Unfortunately, that's the nature of that side of things. But yeah. In fact, I can't remember the last original stuff I did. 2012, I think. And actually, last recording stuff I did. Wow. Now that would be probably Calabash, one of my old covers bands. We did some recording in 2016. I did the recordings actually for Uncle Funk for the show that we did during lockdown. I did that with the sound man. Other than that, yeah, I don't get called for recording work. I don't get asked to contribute bass lines or anything, so I kind of put all my my efforts into doing what I do regularly, really. I've done both, and you're right, covers mean cash. Let's think, when was that? So that would have been, my partner and I bought our first house in 1999. And I was doing a covers band that was becoming progressively busier through 99, 2000. I was in an originals project. I was doing a few things around about that time, and you could tell the music industry was changing. Downloading was becoming the thing. MP3s came in, and then once broadband came in, that was kind of it, really. Once we were away from modems and we were onto sort of broadband internet access, everything kind of changed, and you could tell record industries were running scared. People were downloading. Once people could download whole albums, then it was a problem. And I had a mortgage, we had bills. I mean, life was a lot cheaper then, but still, you still had to come up with the money. And yeah, I was just doing originals gigs, and then I ended up doing a load of live shows for a recording artist, and the record company were paying for us to rehearse and do the gigs. It was great, it was a good earner. But the record company got bought out, and she lost the ability to be paid for rehearsing and gigging. She would get paid on album sales, but not the other side of things. And all the band, we were an 8-piece band, it was like, well, can't afford to do it for free, just can't. And it wasn't just me, everyone was doing other projects and stuff that they were being paid for. Money talks, and I think around about 2000, I was like, I'm not sure I can justify turning away really good money to do an originals gig in North London and not get paid anything for it. The amount of time, we've got to be there really early. You got bands trying to share your gear. It was just like, there's no positives. I couldn't find a positive. And like I say, once you're being offered really good money on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays, and that's when a lot of the original gigs were. It was like, nah, time to let this go. So I did, and thought just plow straight through with the covers thing. Paid off. Mark, I was victim to the CD and solo singers era. Mid-80s, all the working men's clubs were closing. Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, I have this chat with many musos I know, and let's think, when would that have been? If we went back to 2016, so we had the recession at the end of 2008, 2009. 2016, if I looked back at my diaries from 10 years before, 2006, at that time, 2016, easily 75 to 80% of the regular gigs I used to do in London, the southeast, sort of surrounding areas, south coast, Kent, what have you, 75 to 85% of those gigs did not exist in 2016. Either the venues have been sold for property or other things, or they were just having DJs, no bands, or there were noise limiters in place, which meant you couldn't have a band anyway. And I've seen the changes, 20 years ago, and it pains me to say it, 20 years ago. It's 2003. I can remember it like it was the other day, to be honest. My old covers band, we were ripping it up. We were doing 4, 5, 6 gigs a week, almost every week. Some weeks were quieter, but generally it would be pretty busy. And there was loads of places to play. There really was. But you saw all the changes coming. So when we were able to have mini discs, so we could do backing tracks and stuff, and then we had the smoking ban, and then the noise limiters came in, and just things kept changing. And there was a big thing here in London where loads of venues relied on the South African, Australian, New Zealand contingent, Southern Hemisphere bars and pubs. And when the Labour government of the time closed a loophole that prevented those people from not paying tax, a lot of them came over and did contracting jobs or bar work or whatever. There was a loophole that meant they didn't pay any tax, and it got closed. And all of a sudden, those people went straight back to the Southern Hemisphere. And within 3 years, whole areas of London, Earl's Court, Shepherd's Bush, Acton, Willesden, sort of northwest London, other places as well across London, little pockets where there'd be Southern Hemisphere communities. All those venues went really quite quick. And you suddenly go, oh, we'll get our gigs for this. Oh, it doesn't exist. I've just rung them up. Phone's dead. There's no. And you take a trip down to where that venue was, and you realise it's been knocked down. They're putting flats up. It's like, oh, okay. It's like that, is it? And I've seen all those changes. I've lived through that, and other things have sprung up. But here in London and the southeast, there's it's very hard. I don't know how the kids of today coming out of these music colleges are going to learn their lessons doing gigs and stuff. Do the weddings, but there is so few sort of live music venues, covers venues anyway, let alone originals venues. And also there's the whole thing with the open mic night thing. I read a thing on a forum, might have been Bass Chat, might have been something else, and they were having a go about places that used to be covers and originals stuff. You'd get these guys who run open mic nights going in, telling the landlord they could do it for half the price, pulling together a scratch band and getting people in, milking it for all it's worth for 6 months to a year, maybe 18 months. And then when people's interest goes and people aren't coming in, they move on to another pub. It's almost like locusts, one venue to another, and they just kill it. And eventually those venues never have live music again because the governor knows he can get it for like a really reduced price, and the bands don't want to play for that reduced price, so there's no live music. Sad, really. Just the way it is. Kev Mac, I'm still feeling the pain of lockdown. Many clubs didn't open back up here on the East Coast US. We got a few here in London. Some of them have opened up, but they're not having live music. We have a place in Stockwell in South London, close to Brixton, the Swan, which was a very well-known Irish venue, multiple floors, used to be open all night at weekends till like 4 or 5 in the morning, and it's reopened, but they do not have live music anymore, which is a shame. Did many gigs in that place. At one point, my old covers band with a resident Friday night band, I think we were there for like 6 months every Friday, and then we were always there a couple of times a month anyway. Mark Aspinall, gigs in North England are pretty sparse and few. It's the way it is. It's the way it is. And the problem is you've got the recession, lots of things changed. But also the introduction of social media, Facebook and smartphones, which for like the weddings and function side of the business really was a bit of a death knell, because it meant clients who would usually go to an agent to find a band for their wedding or their event could then find those bands on an agency website, find them on social media, because usually the promo pictures are the same, and then book them directly. And it was something that they didn't have to be at home after work doing. They could do it on their smartphone in their lunch hour. And it sounds ridiculous, but it's the way it was. People would book bands in the evening when they got home from work. Having a smartphone meant they didn't have to be at home to book a band for their wedding in a year's time. They could just do it in their break. And, you know, rather than wade through a whole agency's list of bands to find the band they wanted, they could pick 5, find their independent websites or Facebook pages and book them without having to pay the commission. And it was a big problem. And I don't know, obviously there's been an industry since then, but here we are 15 years on, and I'm not entirely convinced the industry's ever recovered from it. And also what happened with the recession was people were looking to cut costs, get the cheapest price. You had a whole load of new bands and part-time bands who came in and swept through the wedding market because they were willing to do it for 300-400 quid. Like my old band, we were a 3-piece, and we could go out for £1,200 plus, and suddenly you were arguing with clients to try and keep your prices up, because once you drop, it becomes known that you will do stuff on the cheap. And we used to play a couple of regular, like O'Neill's places, and people would come and see you, and they would expect to get you at £300, which is what you're being paid in the pub. They would expect you to play their wedding for £300, and when you quoted what you would charge for a wedding, they'd nearly fall off their chair. But there we are. I've lived through that. Crazy times. This is what it is. I was lucky to come through at the time I did, because a lot of the people who are half my age, even people in their late 30s and 40s, I do get guys on the circuit saying, you were so lucky to have that time. It wasn't luck, it was what it was. You make the most of what's available at the time. But as those venues dropped off, got to find other income streams. Kev Mac, people that went out now don't have disposable income. They have to buy food. Correct. Yeah, all of that changed with the recession. It did. I've lived through it. I went through it. And suddenly, where we had a real purple patch in my covers band from like 2000 up till 2008, and then there were massive changes. Massive changes. But it was a lot of things all at once. So the recession, smartphones, social media. That's what changed. Those three things changed the whole live music system here in the UK. But still here to tell the tale. We have another subscriber. Welcome, wherever you are. If you're here on the live chat, good to see you. Just check. Okay. Very good. Mark Aspinall. Me. What's me? Oh, it's you. Very good. So were you number 31 or 32? I don't know. Well, you're very welcome, Mark. Thank you for all your input this evening. Very good. Excellent. Good to see you. Hopefully you'll find some content on the channel that you like. Trying to think if there's anything in the interviews you might like. The interview with Glenn Hughes. Lots of Billy Sheehan interviews. Chris Squire. Chris Childs from Thunder. Trying to think if there's anything punky. I don't think so. I need to have a look in the interview section. But anyway, feel free to have a mooch around Brooks's Bass Corner here on the YouTube channel, and hopefully you'll find some stuff that you like. Cool. Glenn Hughes, great singer, still top notch. Yeah, I went to see him. When was that? 2017, I saw him live. I interviewed him for the magazine in 2016. Yeah, Resonate had just come out. And my editor and I went to see him, I think in the February. And then we interviewed him again later that summer in 2017. Haven't seen him since. Lively. Best description for Glenn, lively. But yeah, great singer. No mean bass player either. Black Country Communion twice. Yeah, great band. Really good band. Seen Joe Bonamassa a couple of times. Yeah. Kev Smith, good night all. On holiday next week. Excellent. I'll see you next week then, Kev. Thank you for attending. Thank you for your input this evening. Very much appreciated, of course. Have a good week. Okay, we're coming up to 11:15. I'm probably going to wind it up shortly, I think. So I'll say thank you very much, everyone, for your input this evening. Thank you for joining in. It's been great. Very good stuff, good chats. So there will be some content going up over the next couple of days, I promise. And I've actually got nicely 2 days kind of clear now before Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno on Friday. So keep an eye on the channel, keep checking back. Make sure you're subscribed. So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and then you'll get notifications from YouTube when I put that new content up. If there's anything you'd like to talk about or anything you'd like to see here on the channel, let me know. You can contact me either through the comments section on any video or through social media. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, Threads, Discord, TikTok, Be Real, Reddit, and Quora. Brooks's Bass Corner merchandise is still 20% off until 1 minute to midnight on Thursday, 28th of September. So if you want caps, t-shirts, or you don't even really have a clue what we're selling, links are in the description box below. So there's a UK and Europe store, US and worldwide store, affiliate links for Thomann, Amazon, Gear for Music, and Andertons. They're in the description box as well. Let me see, what else do I need to say? I think that's probably about it. On that note, have a great week. Enjoy your bass playing. See you next Tuesday, same time, same place, 8 o'clock, London Town, UK, Brooks's Bass Corner. Have a great week. Catch you soon. Take it easy.